Yeah. What up, guys? Back at it again with the darkest of days. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Let's just cross the bridge and see what happens.
I have no idea how to get to the bridge.
That's a good question. So there's just been this new meme going around. This saw, dude.
Saw, dude. Dude, saw.
Saw, dude.
Saw, dude. Dude, what's up?
And I got shown it recently, and I was like, this is the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But you can't help yourself.
But say it.
But say it.
It's just saw, dude.
Saw, dude.
Saw, dude. Oh, those are bad guys.
Yep, those are baddies. And then the other one that actually genuinely I just don't get. Although I will say there is a funny aspect to it, is the damn Daniel.
Yeah, I hate that one.
I don't get it. I will say when he goes back at it again with those white vans, that is funny. Back at it again with those white vans. I'm like, that's a funny bit. But anything else when it's just damn Daniel,
yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't get it.
I thought it was really stupid.
Really stupid?
Really stupid.
Bango Cash?
Really stupid. You know that stroke you were talking about earlier, Kyle? That you
just
had?
happened?
Yeah, that just happened to me.
So actually, going kind of retracing steps there, I guess. Like, the reason I just said Bango Cash was because while I was playing Division and like we were having strokes, our buddy Tripper, friend of the channel, he wanted to say like Bingo Charlie,
yeah,
you know, like he was trying to use like military terminology,
yeah,
but he totally fucked it and called it Bango Cash.
Bango Cash.
He's like Bango Cash, and so now whenever you fuck up your words,
you just Bango Cash it?
We just refer to it as a Bango Cash.
All right.
So whenever you fuck something up, like your time fell out.
Your time fell out. Or...
Bango Cash. Just call it like Bango Cash.
You're like, Bango Cash.
Bango Cash, motherfuckers.
I'm going to try and remember that. I've been debating on getting the Division, honestly.
Dude, it's super fun.
But Dark Souls 3 comes out next month.
Dude, and Quantum Break comes out next week.
Like I don't have money for all these games.
Dark Souls 3 comes out next month?
Next month, April 12th.
Really? Yeah. I might be getting that. I liked Bloodborne. Like I did. I never finished it.
It looks like it's gonna have the beauty of Bloodborne, but the mechanics of Dark Souls. So it's like,
which is cool. The adding of the shield I think will be cool. But I think I really liked the speed of Bloodborne. I will say everyone really likes how they tell the stories in those games. Like people who are really into those games really like them. Personally. And like you're a big fan of Dark Souls, so actually this might be a really good discussion.
I am a huge fan of Dark Souls.
I appreciate the gameplay because I actually really like the gameplay.
You have no idea what's going on in the story?
The storytelling to me is just utter trash.
All right.
I don't like the storytelling, and that's going to get me lynched on the internet for saying that. But
do you not like that you actually have to search out the story?
No. I like searching for story. I mean like in Division, for example. I'm going around catching all like the echoes and cell phone stuff, and like I'm getting the story in that way. But there's also story in the missions.
Yeah.
For me, when I play a game and I expect a story in the game, I want them to tell me the story or let me experience it. But like the way that the story is told is through like item descriptions,
talking to NPCs,
but like the NPCs really don't say anything too much. Like they give you like little like world building, and I will say like the world building in those games is great. Like Bloodborne's world is awesome,
phenomenal.
It's a beautiful game in that way. Like the world.
Hey man, get off my dude.
Back. The world itself and the building of the environments and everything is great, but the lack of actual storytelling really bugs me, because what point do I have to keep looking for the story if there is no story?
Yeah.
And now I know that there is a really deep story in the core, but I think that it's more based on the lore rather than an actual story.
To find the story, because once you find it and start getting these hints, you start finding it more often. And the first one it was hard to do, and the second one it's a lot easier. So the first game, you found the story in a lot of the rings and a lot of talking to NPCs, and just like in Majula is where you talk to like some of the knights there, and you find like little snippets of things, and you start picking up rings and it starts hinting at other things. And there's some questions that still haven't been answered. Like in the first game, for example, Gwyn, the final boss, Lord of Cinder, has two daughters. I'm sorry, Gwendolyn and Gwyneth. But one is the daughter of the moon, and one is the son or the son of the moon, and then his daughter. But Gwyn never had a son. So you find out that Gwyn forced his daughter to be a male because his other son had fallen. And you find that by saying, like, there's a little there's a little snippet of, I want to punch a horse again.
Do it.
A snippet of where
he's
you.
Get away.
No, he's not.
Oh,
told you he's not. Heart attack. Where you hear that Gwyn had another son, but he has fallen, and he is no longer a god, because that's what they are. Then you start getting the okay, and you look back in like other game files, and you find out that this is like the biggest part I adored about Dark Souls was digging and finding the story, like finding out that Ornstein and Smo are actually. What the fuck are you doing?
So then what is your character's role in that?
Your character
because I never felt like my character. Oh my!
We're viewing how bad.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
We're viewing how bad.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
Sorry, I just had to point out bad mechanics. Or not mechanics, but just bad games. Your character is the fated undead. You are branded with the fire sign.
Okay.
Which means that when you die, you will come back at the bonfires. Or the bonfire sigil is what I think what it's called. And so you're tasked to either usher in a new realm or rekindle the fire. Kyle's getting that face again.
Nick just keeps sending me the most ridiculous gift. This is a gif of a kid, like he must be shitting in his pants. Like he must be shitting his pants. So
it's you?
It might be me.
And so your job is to go kill all these major bosses to get their souls so you can either usher in the new era or rekindle the bonfire.
Okay.
Or rekindle the flame, which would... Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played Dark Souls.
Right.
Or beaten Dark Souls 1.
Nah, they've had time.
Skip over like the next 15 seconds. You either rekindle the bonfire and bring it into the Age of Man, or no, you either extinguish the bonfire and bring it into the Age of Man, or you rekindle the bonfire and continue the cycle of undead.
Okay.
So your character is the chosen undead to continue that cycle, because the cycle has
to
been
either break it or continue it?
Yes.
Okay.
You find out that this cycle has been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. This isn't the first time this has happened. You're not the first one. And that's how they explain other undead.
And that's how they incorporate like
the multiplayer.
The multiplayer. By the way, the multiplayer in those games, the way they incorporate it is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like and by the way, I'm by no means saying that Dark Souls and Bloodborne are bad games. I quite enjoy playing Bloodborne. I just, for the story, I didn't like that's a really cool story.
Yeah.
But in order to get that, you have to go through so many hoops, and the game doesn't tell you it.
Yep.
Like it's not bringing you along on a story. You could go through your whole game. And that's what ended up happening to me with Bloodborne and like Dark Souls, is that I'm playing the game going, why is there no story in this game? I shouldn't have to read a novel to get the story of a game. And over the course of the game, if you're reading all those item descriptions, I might as well just be reading a book.
Yeah.
You know, which is fine. Like I love reading books. And I would love it if they released a book of the lore of Dark Souls.
Oh my god.
I would read that.
I would pick it up in a heartbeat and I'd read the shit out of it. Speaking of which...
Because it's really cool.
What is your favorite book, Kyle?
My favorite book?
Yeah.
Like, overall?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Sorry to pull away from that conversation, but...
No.
This might be an interesting one.
Honestly, if you asked me that, it's like I would usually say Of Mice and Men.
Okay.
I really love that story.
Okay.
But I would say like the book that affected me the most would be, oh man, that's a tough one. I guess Of Mice and Men.
Really?
Yeah, I guess Of Mice and Men, because that story, like, so like my dad.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I was never in trouble. I never got in trouble. But when I did, the way he'd punish me is he'd be like, he'd go into his room. He's got a lot of books. He'd grab a book, and he grabbed Of Mice and Men one day, because I was being a little shithead. He gives me Of Mice and Men and goes, you go to your room and you don't come down until this is finished. And then you tell me what happened in this book.
Wow.
And mind you, this is before I had like, you know, before you had the internet in your pocket, you know, like,
can't go that
like
way.
This was back in the days of like the only way to access the internet was through a computer.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I read the book, and the book is really short.
Mm-hmm.
You can read Of Mice and Men in like 2 hours, if that. Hour and a half, really, if you can read fast.
Yeah.
And I read it, and I finished it, and I remember just sobbing at the end of that book.
Yeah.
You know, with spoilers, but for, you know, literally, I think an 80-year-old book at this point. When Lenny gets shot, when George shoots Lenny, I remember just sobbing because I'm like, Lenny, he doesn't know. He doesn't understand what he's doing, you know, and like that just, I remember that painting. The other book that I always remember as being really fantastic was House of the Scorpion.
Okay.
I read that book a ton of times when I was in middle school.
House of Leaves.
Oh, that book is so good. That is a book that I hand to people. Go, do you want to know what a novel can be? Do you like this? Do you want your fucking mind face, like your face melted? Like you want to look like? Do you want to look like what would have happened at the end of Toy Story 3 if they hadn't escaped? That would be the fucking House of Leaves, man.
House of Leaves is by far
awesome.
my favorite book.
That book does some crazy fucking shit, and if you haven't read it, you need to do yourself a favor.
Go ahead.
That book is scary too.
Pick it up. I remember reading that book, legitimately questioning what was real at certain points.
Right? Because they play with like this meta shit. Like
they have real events intertwined with fake events, and it is gorgeous.
It's what was it called? There was a particular name for the type of fiction that it is, and like the type of like the style of novel it is. I can't remember what it's called right now.
We have to go the long way around, I guess.
You know where else we'll have to take the long way? Take the long way to the next episode.
I was about to say you're really have to stretch for this one, Kyle. Because you've been doing this for pretty much every episode, but this one didn't really make sense.
This one didn't make sense. Hey, it's a tree. Hey, have a good night. But no, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell us what your favorite book is. You know,
love to hear it. Love to have a discussion about
novels.
Give me a book to read.
Hell yeah!
I haven't read a good book in a long time.
No, dude. Yeah, there's some like really great novels out there that are just they. Have you ever read Cat's Cradle?
Yes.
God, that's a good one. Oh, sorry. But anyways, make sure you check us out next time.
Books, doesn't he? Like they're that's part of a series.
Kurt Vonnegut? No, Cat's Cradle isn't.
Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah, that's part of a series.
Well, I can't remember if it was There's Slaughterhouse, and then there's Cat's Cradle, and then
isn't that part of the Thieves story?
No, I don't think so.
Because like Cat's Cradle is part of a.
Cat's Cradle is about a guy who starts a religion.
Yeah, and then that's the one. Then because I've read a lot of Kurt Vonnegut's books.
He's good.
He has multiple. He has more books involving that character.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyhoozle.
Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, like Kyle said, and we will catch you next time.
Peace. I gotta pee.